Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and I work with entrepreneurs using astrology to make strategic decisions and take day to day actions so that their businesses and their personal lives are in sync with the natural energetic flow of the universe. Welcome to the December 4th Coffee and Charts Astrological Outlook, where we talk about how to use the rest of the Mercury retrograde to keep testing your ideas about your path forward into 2025, and also looking out for signs about how life is going to change. We even did a little business coaching at the end. Listen to our conversation so that you'll know what to do day by day, and I'll see you on the other side. Wow, you guys are early. I love it. Or I'm running just like barely on time.
Yeah, I'm rarely
Oh,
early these days.
wow, that's great. Well, you probably do a lot of prep work, Faith. You're probably used to being early.
It depends. I think it's like everybody else. It depends on the day.
How are your Mercury retrogrades going?
You're keeping me feeling okay with it. Like, okay. Like I'm feeling not so stressed out about it's quote unquote non-progress. So it feels okay.
Good, good. Fernando?
It's going well. Yeah, some progress here. It's fine.
Good, good. Hey, Carolyn, welcome. And we have a new person. I don't know if I know you, or maybe I do. Do you want to just say hi? Let us know where you're dropping in from. I think 801 is like, oh, yeah, Virginia, awesome. 801, I think, is Utah. Does that sound right? I don't really know. Um, all right. Well, let's get going, you guys. Um, one of the things I'd hope to bring up here is, let me see if I can still find it. It's my 2024 my notes. Here we go. Here we go. Amen. Welcome. So, wow, December 3rd. So, in the next 2 weeks, Mercury retrograde will be over, and that is exciting. And let's just, Portsmouth, Virginia. Nice. Krista, welcome. Awesome. Great to have you. I guess that's Colorado, not Utah, but I'm close. All right. Welcome, Krista. Okay. All right. So where are we on December 4th? So a couple things going on just to remember where we are. We are in the dominant thing, Mercury retrograde. So what is happening there? Mercury is moving backwards. Here's Mercury in green moving backwards through Sagittarius. And during this time, look, here's the sun, and the sun is moving in this direction, in the counterclockwise direction. So they're going to bump up and cross over each other in tomorrow. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. It happens every time, every Mercury retrograde, but that's an energy you might be feeling right now. Another thing that might be slowly starting to build is this Pluto here. Notice it's over here, barely in Aquarius, like half a degree, or even a little less. It is just barely moving into Aquarius. And it's giving you permission to do things differently, to say, this does not work for me anymore. and I get to do it differently. It may also pull you kicking and screaming out of what you've been doing and saying, this feels safe. This is what I know. I don't know how to make anything else work. And that's why it can feel very uncomfortable. But on the flip side of it is when I'm done with something, I get to change it. And this is that energy. So yes. All right. Did it say, yes, I'm recording. Okay. All right. So here we are today. As Mercury, is moving backwards, it's moving across from this Jupiter portal. Now, who remembers what was happening like from mid-July up to early October, how your mind was expanding, your perception, your awareness, there was some different perspective that you were getting. And this is calling you right now to bring that back. What was it that I was learning? How am I showing myself that I know how to put that together? And I might not be an expert yet, but I can see my progress on that. And that is what it means when Mercury is across from Jupiter. Any opposition, think about if anyone played soccer, like the goalie for one team can see what's happening on the other end, right? They have that perspective, and you're getting that right now of, oh my gosh, now I understand what I can really do with that mindset. And here I get to practice that and integrate it and make it part of myself. And by the time February rolls around, you'll be ready. You'll be ready to take that growth to the next level. Tomorrow is the day that Mercury is crossing over the sun. So Mercury's going backwards, the sun's going forward. And when they come together, think about it as this opportunity to maybe get to do something at the last minute, where the thinking and the doing happens. You get an idea and the opportunity to act on it is right there. It might be someone inviting you to do something, to learn something, to share something at the last minute. Or you may just find yourself, oh my God, my schedule already is packed with those things. But if it's empty, look for this possibility of, can I do this at the last minute? And go for it. This also initiates some time where the sun will move past and it will stay ahead of your thoughts for 2 months. So think about those periods of time where it feels like your brain is just not catching up to what you're doing. We're entering that. So just you get to give yourself some grace. Recognize there will be times where afterwards where your brain will be ahead. And why can't I keep up with all the ideas I have? And this is that pulsation that happens with these Mercury retrogrades where it switches back and forth. Okay, Friday, some big shifts coming because Mars will station retrograde. If you've been joining me in the Mercury VIP stuff, I've been talking about how it's like hitting a wall. It's like, oh, auditions are over. We understand what you have to offer us. We'll get back to you. And so you get to gracefully exit stage left and figure out, okay, what did I do really well? What felt great? What was I excited about? Maybe this was, I got in there and I realized, oh my God, I hate this role. Or I know I could nail this part of it, but if there are callbacks, I want to have this part worked out. And this is what we get to do over the next 2.5 months until February 24th, when Mars will go forward again. And it's like, okay, watch out, world. I've kind of figured things out. I'm coming back. So just if you're feeling frustrated with yourself or feeling like you've hit a wall, this is some of that energy of why that might be. The other thing that happens on Friday is that Venus up here, look how close it is to Pluto. And Venus is that energy of receiving, of appreciating, of taking things in. And what we'll be doing is taking in the changes that are coming in 2025. So it may be this tangible heads up of what will shift for you in 2025. It may be an invitation to step up as the new you who says, I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm going to do it differently. It can be just hints of where things are going. So you'll see it'll be from the 6th to the 10th, and we get to just look for those signs. And because the Mercury retrograde is still going on, you can incorporate it possibly into your testing. The next day, Saturday, then Venus actually crosses over Pluto. That could be, if you have a tool, especially at 0.5 degree, something to pay attention to. The sun will be directly opposite Jupiter. And that means maybe you're doing something that pulls what you learned over the summer together. I was working on messaging. Maybe that's the day where I get to like work on my posts for social media and say, okay, I think I'm finally getting into a groove here. And finally, Neptune, which has been moving backwards, so in the clockwise direction, will start to move forward. And as it moves forward, it will start bringing in the human connection, the people you need who understand what you're going through, to support you in whatever it is that feels very deep. And that will be happening into the spring. So we'll get to feel our communities coming together. On the 8th, Venus is continuing through the portal. Mercury is opposite the Jupiter portal. Maybe you do something and then Mercury is like, okay, I've got it. I think I understand. And it'll keep going backwards and then forwards again. And then on the 10th, Venus leaves next year's Pluto portal. So what little changes are starting to like happen over those 5 days from the 10th to the 14th? It's the start of shifts. It may not be everything, but it's enough to like change the foundation so that you can start to see how it will ripple over the years, so to speak. Okay. On the 12th, it's actually the 13th. I'm sorry, should have been the 13th. The sun finally finishes moving through the Jupiter portal. So your testing phase is, quote, officially over. So all the testing you've been doing since the 27th is kind of done, but I still think you can keep testing and keep refining, because all of that is going to inform what you get to do. And, oh, that's what it was. Sun leaves the Mercury portal. There's the Jupiter portal and the Mercury portal. Okay, great. And then on the 15th, Mercury moves forward. I'm sorry, gonna get this arrow out of here. I can, there we go. Mercury will start to move forward for the last 2 weeks of December to January 2nd. It will finish. And that is the time to say, okay, what have I learned? What gaps do I still have in my awareness or knowledge? How do I still need to either learn something to pull it all together and get the clarity I need? But it's the time where if you made an agreement with someone, you start thinking about, okay, I actually know the tweaks that I want to make to that agreement. I know what I want to go back with and say, you know what, that one thing or those couple things, that's not going to work for me. Here's the adjustment I need to make that I actually told you I needed space for way back. And I think we meet again on the 18th. So there we go. Let's roll it back. So a couple things to watch is for Mercury to move backwards, the sun to move forward, and you'll just watch this gap get bigger and bigger. And Venus crossing over Pluto, and that's pretty good. And Mars pretty much being very stationary. Okay. Yeah, I was watching Mars the whole time. It like did not move. So if you feel this fire that is like feeling so stuck and so possibly frustrating, because in Chinese medicine, stagnation means no movement and is painful, that could be part of it. So if you're trying to get your messaging out there or show what you have to offer and no one's taking it up, this can be part of that. Or you hit a wall. All right. So for the next 2 weeks, just consider, how is the Mercury retrograde shining a light on your path forward into 2025? What are you learning through the experiments that feel good, that feel right for you, so that you can take that as, okay, here's the skeleton of it. Here's how I need to flesh it out over the last 2 weeks of December. And then I'll be ready, at least for a little while, right? For the first part of 2025. If you are thinking about New Year's resolutions right now, I'm going to tell you it's too early. And I'm going to tell you that New Year's resolutions, and anyone who's in a coaching program, those calls are happening. People have them scheduled for early January. You can make all the plans you want, but you won't really know what you need to do until the end of January. So go ahead and write whatever you feel like, but recognize it's almost like that retrograde. This is all subject to change. Nothing is set in stone, but the end of January is when I'll really know what my New Year's resolutions are. Okay. So be tapping into your summer mindset growth to find your path forward. How did you grow your awareness? How am I using that? How am I showing myself that I know how to do this now, that I'm so much better than I used to be, and that I can keep going? And just consider that. Look for indications that you get to do things differently as Venus moves through that Pluto portal from the 6th to the 10th. How does that affect your experiments? If you can see how things are getting shifted or how you're being called to do things differently, how can you pull that into your experiments? And then when Mercury moves forward on December 15th and the retrograde is over, you get to fill any gaps that have come up. Any things you become aware of is like, oh, I did not know that. I need to think about that. These last 2 weeks are when you get to do that. And ease up on showcasing your talents until February. There's still this energy now where it's not moving backward, where you really feel like someone's pushing you out the door, like the cane is grabbing you and off stage. But just you get to choose how you exit, basically, and retreat and retrench and think about how you're coming back, because you will. And I don't want you to give up on yourselves. So just a recap. The sun here is moving through that Mercury portal. Come on, there we go. The sun is moving through this Mercury portal. You can see it outlined up here. And so you're testing, how is that bringing in what you learned? And how are you experimenting? Mercury is opposite the Jupiter portal again. So really thinking about how you're incorporating all of that. the sun is opposite the Jupiter portal. So remember, those two things are all kind of connected. There's the sun through the Mercury portal and opposite the Jupiter portal, but just acting to pull things together from what you learned. And on Friday, Mars down here, Leo, is going to stop moving and start going backwards. So here's that portal. It's going to come back into Cancer, where you're going to start tapping into your intuition again. And then you'll be able to come back in February, starting in February until basically May 1st to say, here's what I have to offer. On the same day, Venus will be moving through that Pluto portal, and it's exact on Saturday. So we are looking for, sorry, I'm trying to move this out of the way, tangible signs that you get to do things differently, or how things will be changing for you. And then Neptune will be moving forward. That's not actually a tool to actively work with as much as it is to allow and receive and look for signs that you are supported, that there are people who've walked the path that you're on right now and can guide you, that you will call others in and be able to support them. It's kind of that energy. And then on the 15th, Mercury moves forward, the retrograde will be over, and you get to start using that knowledge from all your experiments to say, okay, what am I going to do? And if you don't know on December 15th, it's okay. By January 2nd, when it's over, you'll have the clarity. And this is all about trusting that process. Not sure what happened there. Okay. All right. So some quick tips for thriving. Again, December 6th through the 10th. Friday is a big kind of changeover point. Just looking for things changing. You could be invited, or you may be pulled into that change. And on the same day, Mars, because it's going retrograde, you may find that you're pushing up against a wall. So it's just a great time. Tally up the wins you've had. Who has been taking in what you've had to offer since early October? Where have your instincts led you to knowing what to do? And you get to retrench until late February. And then Mercury retrograde ends on the 15th, and take the rest of the year to fill in any gaps that you've identified. So you jump into 2025 right at the very beginning of the year, feeling more confident and a lot clearer than you do right now about what you need to do. Okay, so coffee and charts are going to continue into 2025. Our January dates, because the first Wednesday is the first, nobody wants to join an 8:30 call. So I am pushing everything to the 2nd and the 4th dates. There is going to be an ad event calendar. So just DM me for the link. If you're on my email list, it will definitely be in there. So just you'll be able to add it on, and that will make it easier if there are any last minute changes to adjust in the calendar. All right. Any questions? How is the testing going? Does anyone need support or coaching? Feel free to unmute yourself. Go ahead, Jen.
Hi. I am a little bit confused about how to apply all of this to what's happening in my business right now.
Okay.
So I'm testing something that's going to be like a big test on Sunday, which is great. And I've put all my energy into that right now. but and that's an in-person thing that I'm doing. But I also want to do a beta launch for my online program. And I haven't had time to pull it together now before what did you say? Now I forget the date that you said to stop testing.
Like the 13th or the 15th, basically.
Yeah, and then so I could potentially get the kind of the nurture series going before the 12th, 13th, 15th. But then the other thing is that you talked about New Year's resolutions. So one of the things that I'm doing is, so it's an online program for burnt out women, and women tend to make, or men probably too, tend to make resolutions about, I'm going to slow down in January. After the holidays, I'll slow down. And then they commit, and then after a couple of weeks into January, they're back to their old patterns and crazy busy again. So I'm trying to figure out, like you said, don't talk about resolutions right now, and that's exactly the messaging I was going for. So now I'm confused whether I should just continue on and just continue to just test the idea and see how it goes.
And so I think given that so we talk about Mercury retrograde as like, go ahead and start trying stuff, but don't be committed to, like, give yourself the wiggle room to change. So it can be the permission that you plan and have some ideas of what you're going to do in 2025, and recognize that things may come up that you get to change, that you get to adjust, that you don't need to be rigid. So at least when I was a corporate person, it's like, I said I was going to do this. I have to do this. I can't back down from what I said. But, right? So it's more like, here are my New Year's resolutions for now. And I'm giving myself a month till the end of January to like tweak as I learn more. And that can be, women, are you burning yourself out by adhering to too many rigid rules that don't account for the flexibility you need to have in life, right? And you're prepping them for the don't kill yourself. You get to be human, you get to adapt, and give yourself a month. And it just happens to be that month will give them the info they need, give all of us the info we need.
Okay. So what
Life
I could do
essence.
then is also just be flexible about not expecting what the outcomes are going to be if I continue to do the beta this like now, then just to be flexible on the outcomes, because right now it's a testing phase. It's not actually, like, it's almost like viewing it as it's just a test. It's not actually, this isn't the big deal. The big deal is coming in January.
Yes. So another way you could do the beta is if you were to tease it a little bit now and then launch like January 2nd, 3rd, or 5th, 6th,
Yeah.
right? Then you have the clarity behind you of, you've been testing things with either messaging, I'm putting together a course, it's going to cover this. Go talk to people who have actually worked with you and say, what is missing here? Here's what I'm thinking about. Here's the length I'm thinking about. That can be your experiment as well.
That feels better,
It's
actually.
just another way to like work with the energy and be
Yeah.
right. There's so many ways.
Okay.
There's no set path.
Got it. I can do whatever I want. But that feels a lot easier. Like, I feel like I'm rushing it, and with everything like in the 3D world of Christmas and stuff happening right now, I'm like, I can't launch a course right now.
Yeah.
There's too much other messaging out there. Okay, sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time. So thank you.
That's okay. You got to feel happy about it, right? Number one is got to feel proud about yourself, like really happy that this feels great. This feels in alignment. That's that Leo energy that even though it's walking itself back, that you still get to feel that. You're like, okay, I like this.
Got it. And I have a good comparison now too, because the thing that I'm doing on Sunday is so amazing and so much fun. So it's a good contrast to see how it feels with with the online beta launch. So yeah, that's really helpful. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? That was great. I love doing the coaching. It's just so fun. Faith, yeah.
Yeah, I never talk, and now I need to talk more. For someone who's in video, she doesn't talk much on the Zooms. So I'm in the same situation as Jen. So I have an in-person thing on Wednesday next week, and I feel like that's gonna be more of the excitement that I want to feel to go into the course and group membership offering as of January.
Mhm.
So I planted a seed. I did a little, not even a teaser. I just did a LinkedIn post because that's where most of my people are about if they want to get started in January, they can start thinking about it now. We have an in-person thing, but then beyond that, the course is available for purchase anytime, like right now, and they can get started with that if they want to, and that would qualify them to get a free month in January of a membership. And then they can opt to continue on for as a paid membership after January. So I'm aligning that with the dates that you're putting out there.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking by the end of January, if even I have a small group of people who take me up on the free membership experience, then I can get feedback by the end of January to continue with the paid members in February.
Absolutely. And you can keep calling people in through the rest of this month, right?
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to
Just
end. Yeah.
yeah, just setting that up that they can buy the course if they want to, but then they're on their own if they don't want to do the membership. But then taking this time to also, I want to add more content into the course as well, because
Mhm.
it's great as a beginner standalone, but I know there's also always more that I can add into the modules or add, well, even either add new modules or add to the modules that exist. And I'm just wondering, in terms of my creative creation of that new content,
Mhm.
how does that fall into the dates between now and the end of January? I'm wondering, or if does it even matter?
I'm just, I'd be so curious to see how your event goes.
Yeah,
So there are some things.
I did it once before.
Mhm.
And it was a small group, just a handful of people, and they all told me they loved it. We did a social media post about it together, and we posted it, and so some people are coming back, and some new people are joining in. So I got great feedback from it. So
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that it's going to be more of that.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
going to ask them for feedback right afterward, and what they would be looking for if they needed to jump into the membership.
Yeah.
Um, So I just don't know if I should be trying to create more stuff, more content now, or just wait until after the event.
I would like take notes on what it is before, so you get the clarity on the gaps you're filling. Like that's almost the thing that you're going to
Yeah.
recognize to
Okay.
know what it is, the content that is necessary. And maybe you just say that becomes available in the new year with
Okay.
the paid membership kind of thing. So
Okay.
they'll want to stay.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
you already, but remember, filling gaps means there's already kind of a sense of what it might be. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So it sounds
Okay.
like you're kind of start on that. Good.
I think so. Yeah. Because I'm thinking I'm anticipating the gaps, um, but I need to specifically ask each person too. Okay.
Yeah. They'll want to talk to you, babe. Don't worry.
Thank
All
you.
right. Anything else? Jen? Oh, she went by. Faith, was there anything else that you'd like us?
No, I think I'm pretty good on the timing of all of this and getting the feedback. so that I can fill the gaps and then be ready to really move forward in February.
Good. Good. That sounds great. All right. Min, Fernando.
I'm not very on top of things right now. Things seem very fractious right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Just weird energy.
Fernando, anything? You're good?
Yeah, there's nothing complicated at the moment. It's there's growth with me, which is good, and there are good contacts. Yeah, so there's nothing complicated.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. So we'll be back again in 2 weeks. Mercury will have started to move forward. So I look forward to hearing how the experimentation finished, what changes became apparent from the 6th to the 10th, and how you're working with that. Okay. All right. Have a great day, you guys. Good to see you all.
Thank you. You too.
I hope you feel prepared to move easily through the next couple weeks. It still may not be obvious right now about what your path forward is into 2025, but you'll just need the rest of this year to find it. Follow me on Instagram at It's Panda Hershey to get more tips on how to navigate this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.